Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and it is my pleasure and honor to be here today to host another episode of A Woman's Prerogative. We want to say hello to all of our friends at E360 TV who are distributing this content across all their platforms, and also hello to everyone on our YouTube channels. As you may be aware, we are a YouTube Silver Creator Award winner for over 100,000 subscribers on our first channel, and we have over 30,000 on our second. So let's get down to it. A Woman's Prerogative. Today, I am joined by our full-time panelist and the star of our show, Mariska Dupria. She originally, and I always get this confused, she was in New Zealand and now she's in Australia. She's a globetrotter. She is an ICF and PCC certified coach. She's a transformation wizard, and she's also a leadership coach, an author, and a songwriter. Let's welcome her where it is winter and it is a day ahead of where I am right now. Hello, Mariska. How are you?
Hello, I am fabulous, and even more so because I'm here with you and everybody watching, rewatching, listening, and going to enjoy this topic with us today. I'm very excited about it.
I'm excited too, and I'd like to announce that our show from last week is in the top 10 most viewed episodes for that week. So woo, look at us, look at us. Our topic today is looking back. What would you tell your 21-year-old self? That's an interesting one. But before we go there, I'd love to have you share a little bit about your background and how you can help our audience. Take it away.
So background-wise, I came from engineering and stepped into leadership development and partnering with leaders because, well, as an engineer, I did that myself and I know how difficult it can be. Plus, there is skills that we learn in engineering and do not necessarily get in leadership space. So that is potentially also what we might talk about today, because I think I would give myself some advice there. So what is it that I do and how can I potentially help you if you are within a specialization and thinking of stepping into leadership, or you're already in leadership and thinking about stepping further up in your leadership? That's where I help in a number of ways. Coaching is but one. And we partner together to see what would be the best way for you to grow into the leader that you want to be and the team that you would like to lead. So that is what I do and who I work with. And of course, if you want to contact me, you can do so by contact me via my contact information below. If you are listening to this, that contact information is Mariska at journey2discover.com. And for those that want to spell my name, because it is a little bit tricky, Mariska at journey2discover.com. That's easy. The rest of it, the name, not always. And that, Dr. Jacqueline, is then back to you.
Thank you so much, Mariska. Yes, we do have all of our shows live streaming, and after the fact, they become podcasts for people who are just interested in listening instead of watching. So, welcome to those of you who will be listening to this after the show. So, Mariska, we are from different generations, but we've got great chemistry. We get along really well. We've been working together, and we've been friends since 2019, which is terrific. And when I think back to when I was 21, it's a different era than when you were 21. So let's start with you. What do you remember about turning 21?
What do I remember about turning 21? First off, on my actual birthday, the celebration, I remember my mom made a big poster with a whole bunch of photos on it, some very embarrassing ones, of my life up to that point. And I remember feeling moved by the gesture of seeing all of that. So there were some baby photos in there. There were some photos of school events. There were all sorts of other things. You could also, of course, see all the phases that I went through as a slightly ugly duckling and in my progression, because face it, we go through all sorts of stages as we grow up. So that was one of the fun things that happened. The other thing that I remember about 21 was studying, because I was sort of mid studies at that point. Engineering studies. I remember having quite a few friends over. I remember my sister's wedding, I think, was in that year. I'm trying to remember whether that's accurate, but that was in that vicinity somewhere. For some odd reason, 21 is sort of mixed up a little bit with 22 and 20 tad as well. So it's a while back, Dr. Jacqueline. I know that you mentioned that we do have a bit of an age gap, and it's still a while back.
Think how far back it is for me. The funny thing is, I don't really have any significant memories about turning 21. I don't know, when you were in New Zealand, were you in New Zealand when you were 21?
South Africa.
South Africa. Is there an age limit for drinking alcohol?
I think there is. Do not ask me what the age is, because I have never had an interest in alcohol, so it didn't really bother me. I think it might be 21. I think it's 21 and 25. There's something else. I think that's more to do with insurance, potentially. 25.
Yes, we have that here.
Insurance or something. Yeah, we get more brain cells, so the insurance drops, something like that, or so they think. So yes, 21, I think you could legally drink. Not that it bothered me too much. So yeah.
Well, here in the States, if memory serves me correctly, I believe at one point the legal age for drinking alcohol was 18. I think it went state by state, and then it was 19. And then I think that it was a federal mandate for 21. I'm not totally sure, but I think that's what it was. So for many people, that's what they would reflect on. They'd say, oh, that's when I was able to drink alcohol. But that's not coming up for me. So what I can say is, at this age, the ripe old age of 62, when I think back to my younger self, there are definitely some things that I would want to say to my 21-year-old self. Not that I have any regrets, I don't, but I think there are certain decisions that you make. As you know, every decision we make takes us down a path. And so we get down that path, and then we look back and go, oh, I don't know if that was the right decision, but we have to just keep going. So the one thing that I would share is, when I was younger, I don't know what age that was, it could have been 5 minutes ago, but I was very insecure. And I always needed validation. And as I got older, I realized I don't need any validation from anyone except myself. And I think that that's a really important lesson to learn, because if you're always looking for somebody to acknowledge you, and you know that I've always been interested in getting gold stars and, getting the certificates and the degrees. But as I got older, I wanted to get them just for myself. I didn't really care if it was acknowledged. And it's a good thing, because the number of things I have accomplished, there's really no one close to me that can acknowledge them since my mother passed away. So I sit with it myself and I just reflect, and what did I learn and how can I use it? So what comes up for you when I mention about the fact that when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of confidence and I was looking for external validation?
Dr. Jacqueline, I think that is something that, well, there's two things that came up for me. One, I think with age, we learn a lot of things that we would most probably want to impart to our younger selves. And, well, we need to learn it somehow, I'm guessing. So guess what? You live through it so that you can learn it. So that's the one thing that came up for me. The other thing that came up for me is, I don't think validation for me personally as much. I've seen it in others where they need more validation. But I think for me personally, it is really around not necessarily risk taking, but not having things perfect. It is fine to fail. I think that is something that even if I could tell my 5-year-old self, that would be great. It is fine to fail. It's not failure, it's learning. I can get that into my own brain a lot sooner. That would be great, because I would try so many things. I would try things a lot more than I did. I think it's not that I regret the things I tried. It's not that I would most probably go in different directions. I don't know. I haven't done that, so not sure. But I would definitely tell myself to go for it. Just do the thing. Whatever the thing is, just do it. I am still a work in progress, still sitting with that same problem. So if I could give my 21-year-old self, my 5-year-old self, and my current self some advice, it would be go for it. You've got this. If you fail, you dust yourself off, you get up, you try again. It's just one way that it didn't work, but you will find the way that it does. So that's what's coming up for me when you say that.
I think that's really relevant. I love that you shared that, because we do, at some point in our life, we do consider taking risks, and there's all different levels of risks, and many times it's that fear factor that keeps us from taking the risk. But it's also fun. I know as I got to be older, and I think it was really when I left corporate that I just started trying different things, and some of them worked out and some of them didn't. Some of them were great and one or two of them not so great, but through every one of them, I've learned something. And even today, I had a phone call with someone. I've been looking to put us on our own app, and I looked into it about a year ago, and it was extremely expensive. And I wasn't sure how I was going to connect with their platforms or StreamYard. And today I spoke to a guy, and I know the guy, and I said, listen, let's just do it. Let's go for it. So he started working on it and already sent me some. So the point is, I'm always looking for what else is out there. And I think I mentioned to you on our show last week about Tom Cruise. And again, some people love him, some people hate him. I just saw another promotion that he's doing because his new movie is coming out. This guy's been all over the place. He's been in Hong Kong, he's been in London, and he let you back behind the scenes to see what's going on. In this one scene, he's literally jumping out of a plane with this huge camera attached to him. And you see it, the camera's like this far away. And as he jumps out of the plane, you see his face and he's trying to do something. And he takes those risks all the time for his art, for his craft. And I really admire that. Are you someone who would jump out of a plane?
Potentially, I don't know. Have never had the urge to jump out of stuff. Maybe I do have a little bit of a motion sickness problem. The body does not enjoy different things happening to it all at the same time. So in this specific body, it might be a little bit challenging. And in saying that, I have had the experience of going up in a hot air balloon before. So this is more controlled. I have not jumped out of planes, preferably with something attached that would keep me from splatting on the planet. That would be great. And I don't know whether I would be able to do that with a camera, trying to do things and look good at the same time. I don't know. Dr. Jacqueline, that sounds like a big ask.
It's not something that I would do at this age. And that's another thing that I would tell my younger self. So now I've made the decision that when I work out and exercise, there's certain things I will no longer do. For example, I'm not going running outside. When I turned 60, I ran, I think 5 miles. My family was like, I can't believe you're doing this. And it's really stupid. And I'm not saying about people run at all ages, but for me, I ran so many years, it takes a toll on your body. And I don't want to do anything that might have long-term effects that would be negative. I used to play tennis when I was in high school, and I got a scholarship for college, but I didn't go to that college. So I played some kind of level. I'm not saying that it was great, but at some point I gave tennis up, and then pickleball came out, and I tried that once or twice. And I said, I'm not doing this either, because the likelihood of getting injured is a lot higher than if you're doing something else. So I'm not going to play tennis. I'm not going to play pickleball, but the workouts that I do are very challenging, but in a controlled environment. So I would say to my younger self, get out there, try as many sports as you can. And if there's something that you have a fear of, maybe it's fear of heights or fear of bungee jumping or something, go and do it. Go and do it and get it out of your system so that you don't have that hanging over you anymore. I know today I still have a fear of swimming in the ocean because I'm allergic to shellfish. So I don't want anything to try to bite me or come near me. But, that's the inconvenience sometimes, because if you're at an ocean and you don't want to go in and, maybe your friends want to go in, so for my younger self, I would say try as many things as you can within moderation. And as you get older, then you're able to make the decision if you want to keep incorporating that into your life. And then I also think travel as many places as you can go, experience other cultures. How do you feel about traveling? Is that something you're passionate about?
Well, I would say, seeing as I have moved from South Africa to New Zealand and then from New Zealand to Australia, traveling might be in the blood. So yes, absolutely. If you can travel, the more, the better. And in saying that, it doesn't need to be far afield. It can be literally to the next town over, right? So we don't necessarily always have the means to do big trips wherever it is, but we can always put ourselves out there to go and experience new and novel things, because it takes us out of our comfort zone. Dr. Jacqueline, as you were talking about things to experience, so you mentioned going out and doing different sports and all of those sort of things. One of the things that I've been thinking about was, well, at 21, I know I haven't worked physically in the working environment for a very, very long time at that stage yet. I think I only had a very short stint of holiday work was about my extent of experience within the working environment, other than, of course, working on the farm where I grew up. So that's a bit different, because it's how we grew up. And I would also tell my younger self to, whenever you have an opportunity, and create those for yourself too. Make sure that you learn on the job as many things as possible. I vividly recall a time when one of my leaders came to me and said they were doing a belt shift on the ash plant. So what that basically entails is it's a very long stretch of conveyor that needs to be moved from one end to another end so that they can put ash in a different spot. It's a lot of work. I did not know what it entailed, how it worked, never did it, never worked on it before. And I had the one leader come to me and say, hey, would you run this? And because I've never done it before, I've never worked it myself, I said no. I can sort of kick myself for that because that would have been a great learning experience. The leader that I had at that stage was really, really supportive. If something went wrong, I know I would have had the resources to help me out to see how we can get it sorted out. And I didn't take the opportunity. So I would tell my younger self, take any and all opportunities that come your way. You never know what's going to happen with them. There's a reason that they're on your path. You're going to learn from it. Whether it's easy or not, well, that's really a perspective-taking thing because we can decide how easy or difficult we want to perceive it as. It might not physically always be easy. And in saying that, the amount of learning that we get from it and the way that we think about it makes a big difference on how we perceive the thing that happens. So that would definitely be something that I would tell my younger self, like take the bull by its horns and live life. Live life. Don't sit on the couch and be a spectator of it. It's go out, live life. And Dr. Jacqueline, I know shellfish, oceans, yes, I get that. Is there any possibility we can suit you up in a very, very tight wetsuit so that you can't get to the shellfish, or rather they can't get to you, but you can still go into the ocean?
I don't know. It's something we can look into for sure. But we are going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about being boy crazy. Ooh. All right, stay with us. We have a new sponsor. It's Ring Thing. Take a look. USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, proudly presents Just the Thing for Your Ring. Introducing the patented Ring Thing. Your premium personal ring holder to keep your ring safe, nearby, and avoid loss.
The Ring Thing just got smarter. Add your logo and an NFC tag that opens to your website with one tap. Waterproof, inner padding, and now a forever business card.
Just the thing for your ring. Scan the QR code seen here to learn more about Ring Thing or place your order. Follow Ring Thing on Instagram at ring_thing_ or go to our website, ringthing.com. Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. If you are watching this, please do scan the QR code in the right-hand corner so you can subscribe to our network. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and we are back on A Woman's Prerogative. And our conversation today is getting hot because we're going to start talking about boys. Let's welcome Mariska Debria back to the show. Hello.
I love the fact that you assume that it's going to be getting hot because we're going to be talking about boys. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I remember my dad used to say, you're boy crazy. You know, you don't chase after boys, you let them chase after you. And I would come to my dad and I would share with him what was going on with whatever guy I was interested in or some guy I was dating. And he would always say, you have to play hard to get. And, you know, looking back on my younger self and the advice that I was given, I don't know how I feel about it today. I don't know if I feel like you should play hard to get or you shouldn't play hard to get, because I'm not playing at all. So I don't really care anymore. But I remember spending so much time thinking about, am I too available? Do I answer the phone too quickly? And these were all things that my dad would say, like a guy wants to chase after you, who'll lose interest if you're readily available. So I don't know if that's the case or not the case, because I think at some point you get into a situation where both people respect each other and are interested in not playing any games. But he was really adamant about that. And he used to say something else that I actually bring up when I teach my listening courses, which is the phone is for the convenience of the caller. So I would be sitting there with my dad and the phone would ring, and we didn't have cell phones back then. I think it was the house phone or something. And my mother would say, it's so-and-so, it's a boy. And my dad would say, take a message. And I'd be like, no, Dad, I have to talk to them. And he's like, take a message. And afterwards he would say, don't be available. Then he's going to want to talk to you even more. And then I said, but if I'm so unavailable, he's going to go find someone else. So I don't know how that works. Now, what about in your generation? Did you have anything where, people were saying, don't chase after, or let them chase after you?
Well, first off, I would have loved to have a conversation with your dad. He sounds like such a cool person. And at the time when I grew up, so at 21, we had cell phones. Yes, we did. We did. They were starting to get a little bit more popular, not widely spread yet, but a little bit more popular at that stage. While growing up in the house, we had a landline. So, and I remember my mom getting so upset with me because I would be on said landline with said boyfriend for hours. Now, I know that if you go back and watch some of the very, very old movies, you might be lucky and see that they have landlines with these long cords, right? They can literally hook off the wall or wherever they were standing, and the person would walk with them to their room. Our phone did not work that way. Our phone, you only had one spot to sit. And it was literally in the formal sitting room. So it was uncomfortable to sit there to start off with. It's a very good room, but the furniture, formal sitting, not the nicest, laid-backest furniture to sit on. And it's sort of in a public area because the formal sitting room and the living room was sort of closely connected to each other. Not the greatest place to have private conversations at all. So yes, that I do remember vividly, Dr. Jacqueline. As for answering the phone, not answering the phone, I do remember my dad mentioning at some stage that it needs to be on my terms, however it is that I want to conduct, and to be me. So those were things that I remember him saying and sort of going, yeah, that makes sense. I don't want to pretend in a relationship to be somebody that I'm not. And I also don't want them to pretend to be somebody that they are not, because the only thing that's going to happen is literally at some point we will be disillusioned and find out that the other person is not who they really pretend to be. And that would suck. So I would rather invest in somebody that would just be themselves. So that was good. And the only way to do that is then, of course, to be myself in all my wonderful, weird, and wackiness. So that's what I tried to do as best as I could within my teenageness as well.
I love that. I can just imagine you. So you weren't boy crazy. That's a good thing.
I won't say that.
You're not saying it, and you're not saying it. So,
well, I had a couple of relationships, and most of them, interestingly enough, long term. So I had two boyfriends in school, and both of them were well over a year and a half each. So longer term relationships, I had a lot of friends that would be jumping from one boy to the next boy to the next boy. It's like, that just sounds exhausting. I guess they hopefully figured out at some stage what they like. But I didn't wait. I didn't do it that way. To me, it didn't work.
Well, and shame on them because they missed out. So I think something else I would tell my younger self is follow your intuition. When I can think specifically, I was invited to someone's prom and he was older, and I didn't really think he cared about me, but I thought it'd be cool to go to the prom with him. And he actually became the prom king of his class, and he ditched me for the prom queen. And I had to call my mother and ask her to come pick me up. It was so embarrassing. I can't even tell you. But my intuition had told me not to go with him. So today at 62, I do listen to my intuition. I've been following it for probably 2 years. Before that, I don't know, that I was in another world, I guess, with the pandemic and whatnot. But today, I really get a strong sense of whether or not I'm supposed to do something or not do something. And then I think this is also really timely. In the past, when I was younger, if I wanted to go for something or I wanted to be part of something and it didn't work out, I would be really upset about it. But today I realize it's because I'm supposed to go in a different direction. And I'm going to wait and see what is that direction that I'm supposed to go into. So I think listening to your intuition, and then also accepting when things don't go exactly the way you want them to be, it's because that's not your journey. You are meant to be on a different journey than that.
Dr. Jacqueline, please go and tell my 21-year-old self and my 5-year-old self that same message. It would be really good because yes. Intuition, it warns us all the time. The thing is, we either don't listen to it, we actively ignore it, or we hear it and then we go, oh, no, that won't happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course it will.
Of course it does. You know, something else I wanted to share with you, I think this is interesting. Yesterday, I was out somewhere doing something, and this man came up and started talking to me because he liked my sneakers. So my sneakers are totally blinged out. They're all like black and gold and silver crystals. So you can see them from a long way away. And you know me, I'm not the most subtle person. So he just was mesmerized with the sneakers. And he's from Cape Town, actually South Africa. Mm-hmm. And he was on a yacht traveling from one place to another. And long story short, he said, I think you're a nice person. And I said, oh, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, your left eye is higher than your right eye. And I said, I've never noticed that. And he said, what in my experience in all of my traveling of the world, he said, I found that when people have a left eye that's higher than the right, that they are a nice and good person. So then I was freaking out that one of my eyes is too high and the other is too low. I had to get to a mirror. Like, what does it look like? I don't know. But so what I got from that, because I probed a little bit further, is that, and I think he's older than I am, that in all of his life experience, he's been able to deduce whether or not he wants to engage in a conversation with someone very quickly. And for him, that's his go-to. So to my younger self, I would say, don't spend time talking to people or listening to people where there's not going to be some kind of value in it for you or for them. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we get involved in these conversations that go nowhere for no reason. And we just do it because we don't know how to respond or not respond. So today, and you know this about me, I am very direct. And I've even got my life set up that if you call me on the phone without an appointment, I probably will not answer the phone. just because I want to make sure that I have the complete and total focus to give to you. And obviously, if I'm doing something else and the phone rings, then that's going to derail me from what it is I'm doing. And I can't honor you in a space where you deserve to be honored. But when I was younger, there's no way I would have done that. I was just a yes person to everyone. And today I realize that if you want to really have a true relationship with someone, you have to be able to listen to them and you have to be there for them, but you can't do that all the time. And that's kind of a tough thing. So to my younger self, I would say, don't be afraid to set boundaries. And those boundaries are out of respect for yourself and for the other person.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like some of those lessons that your dad tried really hard to impart has sunken in.
Yes. My dad was he was in the men's society. He was very, very intelligent. And he had this really nice way about him that he always wanted the best for me and for my sister. That's for sure. So, and something else that he said, and this because it's in one of my books. We were in the kitchen and he said, "Look out the window. What do you see?" So I described what I saw. And of course, there were a lot of trees. And he said, "What do you see on the trees?" And I said, "I see a lot of pink flowers." And he said, "Look closely. Do you see anything else?" And I said, "Just leaves." He said, "So you don't see any money on the tree, do you?" And I said, "Why would there be money on the tree, Dad?" And he said, "Well, money doesn't grow on trees." He said, "So don't expect your mother and I to take care of you for your whole life. And don't expect a man to take care of you for your whole life. You have to take care of you." So that was a lesson he taught me. And I guess I was 21, 22, something like that. And that really did stick with me. And that gave me more confidence to believe in myself and explore things. And that's what we're talking about. When a door opens, say yes. If it makes sense, if there's something value that could come from it for you or for helping others, for giving back, say yes.
Yes. And that goes for whether it's a thing or a person, as you said, having those conversations that doesn't go anywhere. It's all, to me, I also think about who is it that I would actually want to have in my life, right? I have a finite amount of time that I can spend any way I want. Do I really want to spend it with somebody that makes me feel miserable, or where there's no significant value in either side that's being created? I don't know. That sort of feels like throwing money down the street and just seeing it blow in the wind. Okay. I guess you could do that. Don't know why you would, but potentially.
Absolutely. Well, I think that just looking back, and for those who don't know, we have no script here. Mariska didn't even know what we were talking about today. So I just really like the authenticity of it. And I think maybe that's a good thing looking back on my younger self. Everything doesn't have to be scripted out. There are times in life when you assess the pros and the cons. And I know some people will really spend a lot of time trying to make decisions. I was like that, and I'm not like that anymore. Now I look at what is the solution and what are the potential outcomes, and I don't attach emotion to it. My dad used to say about me, he would say, "You have high highs and low lows. You can be super excited and then you're flat." And now I'm like this. And I think it took years of discipline and training. And now actually, because I interface with our team, we probably have 60 team members from different cultures around the world. I have to be able to assess and know my audience. And I would say that's another one. So knowing your audience, I'll never forget this, and I'm sure I shared it with you already. But when I was in corporate, I had a vice president who was he was much younger. And I would write emails that were very long and they had big words because that's what I was taught, getting a master's and a doctorate. You sound really intelligent when you use these big words and long sentences. And so my VP said, "Please shorten your emails so that they fit, the amount of content fits into a Twitter feed." And of course, at the time, I was not I'm still not into X or Twitter. It's just not my platform. But anyway, I think it was 122 characters. And I was really insulted because I thought my dad told me that big words and long sentences made you stand out from others. But what ended up happening is I had to accept what he said, and he was my audience. So if I was going to be wanting to effectively communicate with him, I had to communicate with him the way he liked to communicate. And I learned a lot from that. And where I'm going with this is now with the television platform, I realize it's much better when you're doing promotions to be succinct. We've had some team members who do their own promotions, and it's this long, it's tiny. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm totally bored. I'm standing across the room and I can't read what it says. It has to stand out. It has to make an impact. And I think I realized that by having that conversation with my VP about knowing your audience and also what is the value you are bringing. And I think that goes into relationships and it goes way back. So if you are in your 20s and you want to have the ability to be respected and heard and make an indent, and your people you're dealing with are older, think about how they like to communicate. So I think it's a win-win. And to me, that is something that I really carry close to me, which is know your audience and communicate accordingly.
I love that. It also reminds me of something that I'm currently going through is working through business building yet again, because, well, guess what happens when you move countries? It's interesting. So one of the things that, for some odd reason, my brain decided was that to have your own business has to be difficult. Guess what? That's a belief that I decided that I want to impart on myself. And it doesn't have to be difficult. I literally have control of all of it. So I can build it the way that works for me. And to your point, Dr. Jacqueline, if the person likes long form, I can still communicate on the platform that they prefer in long form, if that is what they prefer, but also in a way that it's easy for me. So sort of finding that in between, the this and, adding them up. It's not an or equation. It's not this thing or that thing. We can make it so that both these things that might feel like opposites can work together. We just need to be a little bit creative around it. And that makes life interesting, because the way that we would be creative about it and the way that somebody else will be creative about it's going to be so vastly different. So that's another thing that I would tell my 21-year-old self is look for all those in-between opportunities. They are out there. They are literally in between the things where we think it's a problem. They are everywhere. Within each problem is built in the solution. The only thing is we need to elevate our own looking a little bit further away from the problem so we can actually see the solution. And we forget to do that. Plus, I will also tell my 21-year-old self, remember, everything is made up. Everything is made up. And then see what I come up with a couple of years later. Because, well, who knows if I knew that early on what would happen.
Good point. Good point. We are already over time, but one more topic, because we have another show after this. I think the other thing that I would tell my 21-year-old self is enjoy the ride. I was always in such a rush to do this or do that. And again, getting the gold stars, and then you get it. It's like, oh, now what? So now I really tell myself, enjoy each moment of the journey before you get to the accomplishment, because the accomplishment is great, but the growth is in that journey. And with this television platform, I mean, I told you we're going to be coming out with an app, and I'm working on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, live streaming and in other languages. I have a European tour coming up where I'm going to be meeting with media entities to discuss this. And all these things are out of my comfort zone, but it's necessary and it's required, and I'm enjoying it. So instead of having this overwhelming feeling of I'm traveling alone, I'm meeting with these entities to talk about what I'm going to do, I'm thinking to myself, this is exciting, and I'm going to join each step of it. Because at some point in the near future, we will have more television shows. There will be in other languages, and I'll be able to say, remember when you were building it, the building blocks and what it took to get there, and who you met along the way. So enjoy the ride.
I am absolutely with you on that one. The enjoying the ride, being in the present moment. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And yesterday already took care of itself. It's done. It's gone. Be in this moment. Enjoy this moment. Have fun with this moment. Because literally, that's the only moment that you have. I mean, if we think about the future, it's planning, right? We can't live in it. And if we think about the past, it's gone. We can't live in that either. We can reminisce about it, but you don't live in it. You live in this moment. So have it a mindful moment. It is good.
And that's why we always have so much fun together, I think, because we are actually enjoying the moment. We're not bogged down with the script, wondering what are we supposed to stick to. We're just listening to each other, enjoying each other's company. And I hope the audience is enjoying it and will enjoy it in the future when they watch this, if they're not watching it live. So Mariska, we have to close out for today. But I'd really appreciate it if you can share a little bit with our audience. I'll bring up your website. What are the services that you offer, and how do you work with people? Is it remote? Is it in person? Is it a combination? Is it a team? Tell us a little bit more, please.
So I work with people both remotely and in person. Now, if it is in a person, of course, I need to be there. In Australia, it's a little bit easier. If you are further afield than Australia, it's a little bit more difficult. So that will most probably be online virtually. When we are within the same time zone brackets, so not necessarily the exact brackets, but like in the US, we have overlapping times. So that works really, really well. And services that we offer, the way that we partner is literally a partnership. So depending on what it is that you require to grow yourself as a leader or grow yourself and your team. So we have different ways where we partner either with the leader specifically, or we partner with the leader and the team so that we can build the team dynamic and become a value-adding team. So all of those are different ways in which we partner. I do this through some trainings. I do this through facilitation. I also do this through coaching, either one-on-one coaching or team coaching. So there's a variety of different ways in which we do that. And of course, I also share with you guys some tips and tricks via this platform on our Talking Head show. So if there is anything around leadership that you are wondering about and you want to bring more of your humanness into your leadership space and really be the leader that you wish you had, go and have a bit of a look on our YouTube platform. You will find a whole bunch of different resources there around leadership and how to build yourself as a leader as well as your team, things to take into consideration. And of course, especially within the coaching space, that is the implementation, really being that person. So I would love to connect with you and see how we can partner together. And we can do that via my email, which is Mariska, MARISKA, @journey2discover.com. Alternatively, on my website, as you guys saw, or you can also find me on LinkedIn. And that is it from me, Dr. Jacqueline.
thank you, Mariska. I really enjoyed this time with you. And I know I'm here today on a Tuesday and you're there on a Wednesday, and I'm in spring and you're in winter. But whatever the situation is, I always enjoy your company. And I thank you for your friendship and your loyalty and just for sharing all of your world-class education with our audience.
Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you for your friendship and this wonderful platform. Without you, we would literally not be here. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, without you, I would just be doing, 24 hours a day standing, doing all the shows myself, like in the beginning. So thank you for being here. My feet, thank you.
It is my pleasure.
All right, my dear, I will see you later. Enjoy the rest of your day there in Australia.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone. I just wanted to mention, Mariska and I did touch on a few things today that are part of elevated listening, which is what we practice here at USA Global TV and Radio. All of our team members are elevated listeners. And for a shameless and selfish plug, I will just mention this book that I wrote, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. It's for people who have some training in listening skills. There are 2 quizzes, there are testimonials, and there are lots of nuggets in here. Again, it's for people who already have some training in listening at an elevated level. And then finally, I just want to mention that our new book came out. This one is terrific because it includes our team members who are with us today and their actual shows. So just to give you a sneak peek, for example, I'd love to land on Mariska's. Am I going to be able to do it? I don't have it at the moment. Okay, we'll keep going. So here's Dear James. He actually has 2 shows with us, Weekly Wisdom and Insights and Inspired Connections. And he had 4 TV shows in the top 10 last week. So you can find out more about him. His bio is in here. Mariska's bio is in here. Mariska's shows are in here. So it's really a tribute to everyone at USA Global TV and Radio who has been here and is still here doing what they're doing by bringing you education experience. It's not easy to show up week after week. Mariska's been here since the very beginning, let's say 4 years. She's been broadcasting with me, and just imagine the commitment that takes. Plus, she has to deal with me. That's all other story. So we are going to sign off. Our next show is coming up. Let's take a look at our new promotion for Broadcasting Brilliance, and we'll be back with our next program. Take care.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host, and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur, or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming, and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight, Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com.
When we speak, we don't hear. It's abundantly clear. Listening lace is gripping, and nobody's gonna win. Look someone in the eye. If you don't, they surely will cry. You don't hear a word I say, 'cause you always look straight away. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. Da 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 da. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. When you interrupt your friend, you will surely have to make amends. Lady Ella knows the way to help you listen better every day. And what's that?
It's listening lazy.
Ba-dum-ba-ba. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces, listening laces.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.